Hello. Hey guys, it's Godford here, and I got another deck list for Cardfight Vanguard Premium. So if you guys didn't know, I really love Angel Feather, and I made a Hexaorb Sorceress Premium deck for Angel Feather a while ago, but with the recent release of Dragon Masquerade and Cardfight Vanguard Standard, Hexaorb Sorceress got a major upgrade, and if you're wondering what that upgrade is, it is obviously her her other Persona target, Hexaorb Sorceress Aquamarine. It is a very good card. It is literally on the first skill is continuous. This unit is also regarded Hexaorb Sorceress. That changed the game. So essentially we got like 7 Persona Ride targets. It's like Thagrea, but without well, it's actually, yeah, it's just like Thagrea. But anyway, I just wanted to share this deck. I've been playtesting this and I love it a lot. Because Angel Feather manipulates the damage zone. And then, of course, you have Hexaorb Sorceress that manipulates the deck. And since Hexaorb Sorceress does not have a clan box and is of the Keter Sanctuary Nation, that means I could use this build in Angel Feather, and it is really ridiculous, and it's funny. So I'll just get into it. So first off, we'll start with the grade zeros. So we got Black Spark Munkar, one of those. 4 of Augment Angel, obviously. You need your stride fodder crits. Then I got 3 Thundershock Angels, is just so that way I can have 8 crits in the deck, because the thing about me is I love rainbow triggers. I am insane like that. So, I'm going to leave that there. Next, we got the heal triggers. Of course, 3 Transcendent Divider Cassials. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Next up, we have 1 Bard of Heavenly Song Alpacc front trigger, because, you know, rainbow triggers are fun for me. Next, we have Doctroid Refros, a must-have staple in every Angel Feather build. Battle Cupid Nociel V-Series version, draw PG. And then finally, we have our overtrigger Light Dragon Deity of Honors Amartinoa. So that way, that is our 16 triggers of the deck. So this is what I run. I usually do that, keep the 8 crits, because why not? And yeah, and because of deck manipulation, when you see this on the top of your deck, you're kind of good. You get lots of cards. It helps you prep ahead for strategy. Okay, so next up is grade 1s. We got 1 Palladium Zeal Dragon, 1 Aegimare Dragon, because I just like to have different arts, or basically different units. Light Elemental Honoly for those multi-attack decks. Then, oddly enough, I run 2 Magic of Revelation Totrises. I mean, of course, we got 8 targets to ride into for grade 3, but it's always good to manipulate the deck and get what you need. Next up, we have 2 Recurring Magic Lalarita. This is a really good card. Basically, when a trigger unit is revealed in a drive check and your Vanguard is Hexaorb Sorceress, which I have 8 of them in the deck, essentially. Counter +1, soul +1, choose one of my rear guards and stand it, and then retire this unit. So, guaranteed restands based off of trigger ratios. So, let me move this. Let's move this up a bit on my bed. Alright, anyway. Then we have 2 Kind Care Sartaels for recycling. It's really nice. I love Sartael as a staple in every Angel Feather Premium deck, in my opinion. And then finally, we have our grade 3 Searchers for Black Call Nakirs. So, that is the grade 1 lineup. So, this is great for restanding rear guards. This is great for getting what you need to, like, the specific Hexaorb to get into. It's guaranteed that you'll get one with these ratios. I guess like 60% of the time off the top of my head. But anyway, this is the grade 1s. We're going to go into the grade 2s. And of course, just like in standard for Hexaorb Sorceress, you must have this new unit that came out in Dragon Masquerade, Effulgent Wizard. It's a really nice card. It helps you set up. So when this unit attacks and your Vanguard is stand, you can look at the top card of your deck and you either put it into your soul. Now, if it's a normal unit, I usually put it in the soul, so that way it gives me a better chance to get a trigger, in my personal opinion. But here's the second skill, which is really nice. When your drive check reveals a trigger, +5. Now, if you've read the skills of this Hexaorb Sorceress Aquamarine, your trigger units get 10,000 more power. So just imagine revealing 2 drive checks, so this unit gets 10k, because it is not a hard one. It is every time a trigger is revealed in a drive check. So, yeah, this could get +10 from a twin drive. And then not only that, but if it was a trigger, that means you give 10,000 plus how much the trigger's power, how much the trigger gives power. Like a stand trigger would be 15 instead of 5. That's how crazy it is. So yep, run 2 of those. Love how the shadow of my phone and stand is working out. Then of course we have to have 4 Octoray Sorceresses. So yes, these are great cards. I literally have I have a full 2 sets of these because of course I run it in my standard build of Hexaorb Sorceress. But yeah, when this unit is placed in a rearguard circle, Vanguard Sorceress, counterblast 1, look at the top 2. Now this is a big wall of text, but essentially it means you can keep 2 cards in hand, or you either can just take 1 to your hand, put 1 on top of the deck, or or stack 2 cards on top. It's great. It's beautiful. It also helps filter out bad hands too. So Octoray Sorceress is a must. It is great. And then don't forget that we're Angel Feather. So of course we run 4 Black Aquarius Japhkiels. Like I said, you get to manipulate both damage zone and your deck, which is insane for Angel Feathers. I mean, you have that 1 generation Guardian, right? Holy Seraph Sartael, which is rescue 1, counterblast 1, check the top card, put it on top or bottom, and then heal 1, damage 1. But when you combine it with the Hexaorb build, it's insane, especially with the new stuff that came out. But anyway, I'll get into the generation zone for this deck in a little bit, but we run 10 grade 2s, and these are the grade 2s. Now, next up, we're going to go into the grade 3s. And I have 10 grade 3s, and of course, 8 of them is what I just showed earlier. So we got 4 Hexaorb Sorceresses, and then we have 4 Hexaorb Sorceresses Aquamarine. Now I'll give you a moment to look at the skill if you can get a good look at it. Like I said, first skill says it is also regarded as Hexaorb Sorceress. In general, this is a Hexaorb Sorceress. I'm holding 4 more in hand. What's crazy is if I Persona Road, it gains a drive versus taking a crit or front and put it on the top of the deck like the original one says. And every time you reveal a trigger, you Soul Blast 1 and stand 1 of your rear guards. That's stupid. So when you Persona Ride, this basically just became a basic generation unit. Also, this goes around Elementaria Sanctitude, because Elementaria Sanctitude is great for units that have triple drive. This one gains a drive, so it gains a drive instead of gaining triple drive, the actual icon right here. Because if you look, despite it being shiny, you'll see that's twin drive. And if it gets triple drive, then that basically becomes triple drive. But in this case, it's twin drive plus a drive, so it goes around that whole Elementaria Sanctitude restriction. Yeah, it's crazy. It's wonderful. Also, it's grade 3, so yeah. Anyway. So, and then the first one, of course, you have a classic Hexaorb Sorceress. Just like the new one, when your drive check reveals a trigger, plus 10,000 to another unit. Also, I just realized something. If I screw up what I'm talking about with Elementaria Sanctitude, please put it in the comments below, because that is what I understand it as at this moment in time. And like I said earlier, the earlier skill is if I Persona Road, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, you reveal up to 1 crit trigger or front trigger from my hand, put on top of the deck, and this unit gets an extra drive. So this is a triple drive and triple drive. So basically, these 2 units keep triple drive on Persona Ride. So it's great. And then finally, we can't forget our girl, Divine Sister Lepisto. Now, I know Lepisto's a common, and literally it's a couple cents, but hear me out. This is an insane card. When put in the right scenario, this is amazing. So, if you're wondering why, this unit, Soul Blast 1, when a trigger is revealed and you restand a rearguard. This one just uses its own skill, which is Counterblast 2, restands, it gets +5 if a trigger is revealed during a drive check, and it is not a hard once. Now here's the thing that makes it bad. Look, if you look closely, for the cost, it is 2 Counterblasts. It's kind of hard to see, but it's 2 Counterblasts to do that. Now why do I run it in this deck? Well, I'm Angel Feather, right? I don't even focus on countercharging. Why would I countercharge when I could heal 1 and then damage check myself? So not only am I going to get a damage check during my turn, I'm going to get a drive check as well. Sadly, this only works for drive checks, which makes sense because OTT mechanics, but it's really great. And when you pop off, you can do 5 attacks in a row with stride. And it's funny because when you combine it with the Generation Zone, which I will go into right now, it becomes shenanigans. So, of course, we have our starter, which for this deck I put Medical Kit Angel. We got our Quick Shield. Oh, excuse me. Oh man, that's Sonic. Ooh. Alright, we're gonna start off with the Generation units. 1 Progenitor Dragon of Total Purity Agnos, 1 Black Seraph Villator Terminal, 4 Fanatic Seraph Gavriel Edens, just for, you know, oof, I got a multi-attack somehow, which usually happens against certain matchups. And then we got 4 Holy Seraph Japhkiels. Now, Japhkiel is funny because remember when I said when a trigger is revealed during a drive check with Lepisto? Japhkiel can get up to 6 drive checks if you put 6 triggers into the damage zone with this skill. For those of you who don't know, Japhkiel came out from the latest premium collection for Vanguard, and it's amazing. It made Angel Feathers great against lock decks, because Angel Feather finally gained another way to fight lock other than the crit trigger, where it's like it's Nutrient Angel, Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1, put into Soul, unlock 2, choose 2 face down cards, turn it face up. So Angel Feather had 1 unlocker, it was a crit trigger, and now they have a second unlocker, and it's an amazing generation unit. Which is, the cost here is so small for an amazing payoff. It's just discard a card. So, as you can read on the text here, you discard a card, and then you choose up to 3 cards in total from your drop-in circles. That means if you have a locked card in a rearguard circle, you can send it to damage zone. So, a total of 3 cards, combination of field and drop, 3 cards into damage. For every type that is sent to damage, skills pop off. It only works for normal units and trigger units, no orders, so big sad. But for every normal unit put in a damage zone, front row gets 10k for that instance, since it's an activate skill, not an automatic continuous skill. Second one is, if it's a trigger unit, Japhkiel gets an extra drive, so you send 3 triggers into your damage, it's 6 drive. Almost guaranteeing Lepisto restanding. Oh, did I forget to mention that, like I said earlier, we also have recurring magic Lalarita. And then if we run out of Lalaritas, and we have a trigger in drop, then we use Kind Care Sartael to recycle. As you can tell, you can pull off 5 attacks, and it's really silly. Setup is kind of but hey, it's whatever. It pays off really well. Now, those are the generation units. Well, not all of them, but they're the regular ones. Oh, I can't forget. That was just 1, 2, 3, 8. Oh, that was just 10 out of the 16. We can't forget our other girl, Holy Seraph Sartael, which is an amazing card that came out one year, where it's Generation Break 3. When placed, I die at 7 for the rest of the fight. But if there are 5 or more face-up generation units in the Generation Zone, I die at 8, and it's really funny. And then the second skill is an Activate skill, which is Counterblast forward until end of turn. My opponent, until the end of turn, mind you, has to guard from their hand to the Guardian Circle cards equivalent to the amount of damage. So say I'm at 7 damage, they have to do 7 card guards for every attack that turn, and it doesn't really help that I can pop off with Lepisto and recurring magic Lalarita, which is in my grade 1 stack. So that's funny. Well, I mean, it's Counterblast 4, so you might not even be able to do the multi-attack unless you, like, try really hard and countercharge or whatever, but more than likely you won't be able to. But what matters is you can live during the fight. Now, we'll go to the Generation Guardians. We have 2 Holy Seraph Parashells, because literally you will have more face down as the fight continues in your damage zone. Face down cards, yeah. Then, of course, like I showed earlier, Holy Seraph Sartael for deck manipulation during your opponent's turn. Of course, we just gotta have our Super Mobile Hospital Permanent Glance. Man, I'm stuttering a lot in this video. And finally, we have Black Seraph Elolith, just for turning a Generation Guardian face up in the Generation Zone for Generation Break costs. So those are the Generation Guardians for this deck, for a grand total of 16 Generation units in the Generation Zone. So that is the Hexaorb Sorceress Premium deck that I have. Please let me know what you think about this deck in the comments below, but honestly, it's really funny to be able to drive check, and when you manipulate your deck and you end up getting this OT thanks to Octoray Sorceress, like, oof, things pop off, and it is amazing. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace.